people are not going to understand what you do. And because of that, they might say some offhanded stuff. I had someone say to me, "You say you're always busy. What are you even busy doing anyway?" And I'm like, "You don't get it because it's not your vision. You don't get it." Hey friend, welcome back to my channel. I'm Toks, and on this channel, I give you strategies and tips for entrepreneurship, relationships, and personal development. Today, I want to talk to you about the entrepreneurial blues. I'm an entrepreneur, so I can give you the honest truth. In about a few days from now, on February 8th, is going to be 3 years since I quit my corporate wealth management finance job. So I can tell you one or two things about what it's really like. And I don't want to ever sit here and hype you up about things and not give you the truth and what it can really be like sometimes. So I'm going to be sharing with you the struggle, the blues, the sadness that comes around. So I want to start off by talking to you about the desert times. These are the times when things get quiet, when they get dry, when they get ashy. For me, I remember when I launched my poetry book, Through My Brown Eyes, people were buying copies. I was hyped. I was signing copies. I was making coin. And then a few weeks later, it trickled down to nothing. It got quiet. People weren't supporting because they already all bought it, right? Especially when your market are the people you know and you have one product. There's only so much support they can give you. But in those times where the applause stops, it can get very, very difficult. And one tip that I have for this is don't be moved by applause, be moved by your purpose. Because if you're moved by the applause, by the hype, by people patting you on the back, the moment that stops, you are going to end up stopping what you're doing. And that is a premature stop. You're not stopping because it's time, it's no longer serving you, but you're stopping because people aren't clapping. But it's part of the desert season. Sometimes you get to that time where nothing's happening and it seems like nothing's happening because you're not seeing the full fruit or the manifestation right away. But trust me, give it a bit of time and then the rain kicks back up. But if during that dry season you get so discouraged that you stop everything you're doing, you're gonna miss out on the rain that's about to come. So for me, I really take praise and criticism with a grain of salt. I don't let praise get to my head because if I do, the moment it stops, I'm going to lose my motivation. And the same way with criticism. As I said in the last video, nobody has your vision, right? So even when people criticize you, they are coming at it from a lens of their understanding of what things should be. And that might not be how you see it or how it's meant to be. So even with that, when I hear criticism, I'm like, okay, thank you for your opinion. I absorb it, but not fully, without processing it through my line of vision and seeing if it still tracks. You're gonna get that desert season. It comes along with it. During that time, you might even feel like your friends and the people who were supporting you aren't coming through for you in the way you want them to, but you are on this journey and sometimes it's gonna be lonely. And the people around you, it's not that they don't wanna support you sometimes, often, all the time, they're in the midst of their own life and they're doing their own thing as well, right? So they can't always remember to check in on you or ask you how you're doing or even repost your stuff. So don't get angry. Just understand that this is a part of it. If anybody tells you that it's going to be all roses, tell them I called them a liar. Another part of the entrepreneurial blues is the shade. This is the words that you hear from people, the things that they say to you, the offhanded things that because you're so sensitive in this new season of your life just hurts your feelings. I remember being at home working, building my website, doing all my stuff, and I get a call from somebody and I look at the call and I'm like, should I answer? Because I am in the middle of doing something. And I let it ring out a few times and then I decide to pick up the phone. And the first thing they say is, you better answer, you don't have a job. And I was like, what? And people are not going to understand what you do. And because of that, they might say some offhanded stuff. I had someone say to me, you say you're always busy. What are you even busy doing anyway? And I'm like, you don't get it because it's not your vision. You don't get it. And it can be so offensive and so hurtful because chances are it's going to be coming from people who are closest to you. People who are close enough to you to be able to feel comfortable saying stuff, but not close enough to you to really know what it is you're doing. Even till now, sometimes when I ask my mom, do you know what it is that I do? She doesn't fully get it, but it's okay, you know? But that shade comes. And when you're feeling down, when you're feeling confused, when you don't even know what it is you're doing, you don't even know how you're gonna make money, you don't know how you're gonna pay your bills, and someone comes and says, oh, of course you should pick up the phone. It's not like you're working. It can set you on fire. I'm not gonna lie. It can be extremely triggering. But this is one of the things that happens during that season. When you start to doubt yourself, which is part of getting the blues every so often, the things that other people throw at you that sounds like doubt will just be exacerbated because you're already kind of feeling that for yourself. The third thing I want to talk about with the entrepreneurial blues and just things in general that people don't tell you is that 9-to-5s are not bad. So some of us get into the entrepreneurial blues because we're doing something that we're not meant to be doing. Entrepreneurship is not for everyone. I will never sit here and promote it for everyone because that's not the truth and that's not what everybody's built for. Some people need somebody to hold them accountable, and that person can't be themselves. If their alarm goes off in the morning and they know that nobody is gonna write them up for turning it off and sleeping for another 3 hours, then maybe entrepreneurship is not for you yet. And when I say yet, you might get to a place where you find that the discipline and everything that is going to be required will be worth it. But there are seasons and there are individuals who flourish in a 9-to-5 space. And people who say, oh, I don't like listening to anyone. I want to be my own boss. There's so much more to it. And as I'm saying, it can get sad and it can get lonely, especially if you don't have anyone around you who's doing exactly what you're doing. So there's nobody you can confide in. Of course, there's podcasts and people on YouTube like myself who are here for some virtual support, but sometimes you do need that one-on-one person who gets it and who understands where you're coming from. Because some complaints, when you complain about it, people won't even have empathy for you because they don't get it. Like me, for example, 3 years ago, quitting my job, zero savings, deciding to go off on my own, right? If I had complained about being broke or not being financially stable, some people would have said it straight up and a lot of people would have thought it, but they would have been like, who told you to quit your job? You know? And that can be very lonely because you don't even feel comfortable going to people with the truth of what you're going through because you feel like they won't get it. But with all of that being said, there is one tip I will give you to help you through the entrepreneurial blues if you're going through it, if you want to prepare for it in advance because it might come up. That tip is to remember why you're doing what you're doing. Things will not always be easy, but as long as you can remember why it's worthy, it'll give you enough momentum to push through those seasons of the blues, those seasons of self-doubt, those seasons of sadness. So I'm talking about literally writing it down on paper. You need to write it somewhere like, I am doing this because I know my capabilities and I want to bring generational wealth to my kids, period. And on those days where you're feeling sad, go to that piece of paper and read it. Read it and reconvict yourself, reignite yourself, get yourself back on fire because you can't avoid this. It's gonna come from whatever angle that it's gonna come from. And when it does, you don't wanna take a season and turn it into a lifetime. Some people will go through this season and it's meant to last for 2 to 3 months or even 2 to 3 weeks and they're about to just enter the rainy season, as I said, right? But they'll be so discouraged and so dejected that they won't even be able to continue and they'll quit right before they're supposed to get to that place they're meant to get to. It's just like that picture you see of that guy who's digging and he gives up 1 inch before the diamonds or whatever and he looks all sad because he's been trying so hard. But that's the thing. This is a faith walk. Yes, there are certain things that you can plan ahead of time, of course, but a lot of it you can't foresee. You'll just continue to do the work, and then one day, boom, things will blow up. Somebody will repost something that you said, someone will buy your product and hype it up to their following, and before you know it, things will move so fast. but you can't always see that coming. And in those seasons where you can't see that coming, where you don't even see the regular trickles coming in, where no one seems to understand you, you need to be convicted within yourself as to why you want to continue on this journey and why it's worthy to you. So get that paper, write it down, put it on a sticky note, slap it on your mirror every single day, wake up and read it to yourself out loud. Like, this life that I've chosen is worthy to me because insert the blank. And this is not just for entrepreneurs at the end of the day, right? Like, whatever it is that you feel like you're struggling with, remind yourself of why it's worthy and move in that through those dry seasons, through those blue seasons, until you get back to sunshine and rain. So I want to know from you what you're struggling with. What is a part of the entrepreneurial blues that I didn't mention but you experience? How do you get through it? And what helps you in those times where you feel like, I don't know if I want to do this anymore. So I'm starting off this YouTube page and I need all the support I can get. So please don't forget to like, leave a comment, subscribe so that the algorithm can start pushing your girl on up and getting me to those places where I need to be. I'll talk to you later. Bye.